Winds of New England, WNDS Gary. WNDS Sports and Tri-State Megabucks present Candlepin Stars and Strikes.
Oh, look at this. Look at this. He got it. Spread eagle for a spin.
Candlepin Stars and Strikes is sponsored in part by Rockingham Toyota Dodge Nissan.
Looks good. Looks good. It's going to go. It's going to go.
Candlepin Stars and Strikes is produced in conjunction with the New Hampshire Candlepin Bowling Association. And now your hosts, Doug Brown and Dan Murphy.
Hi, everybody, and welcome once again to Park Place Lanes here in Windham, New Hampshire. Good crowd on hand, and we're expecting a terrific match. It is championship week as we look for our fourth qualifier to the 8th annual Tri-State Megabucks Tournament of Champions, which will be coming up in just a few months, and we're glad you're with us. Doug Brown along with Dan Murphy, and these two guys have met many times as teammates and as opponents. In fact, they've bowled one terrific match here against each other several years back. They know each other very well, and they finished 1-2 in the roll-off.
Well, I hope they bowl as well as they talk, because the trash talking before this match was worth the price of admission. But they're going to have to go to top last week's match, a great match, Mike Morgan and Gary Carrington. But I think the scores will be about the same, and it should be as close. All
right, let's set them up for you. First of all, our number 2 seed, coming off his win last week, from Plastow, New Hampshire, is Gary Carrington.
Okay, Gary comes in averaging 132, high single of 196, high triple 480.
And last week, Gary with a 397. That was good enough for a one-pin win over Mike Morgan in the semifinals. So today, Gary goes for 2 in a row, and he goes against the number 1 seed, his friend and our longtime Candlepin competitor here on the Winds of New England from Nashua, New Hampshire, Joe Ashline.
Okay, Joe averaging 132, high single 203, high triple 505.
Well, we've got a lot of money on the line here today. $500 to the runner-up, $1,000 to today's winner, in addition to, of course, qualifying for the Tournament of Champions. And we have $210 in the bonus ball contest. That, of course, comes up at the end of the hour. Joe Ashline and Gary Carrington are ready, and we will get it started right after these messages. Well, so far in this ladder, the seeds have held in every match. The higher-seeded man has won each match. Number 4, Fred Ranella, won the first one. Mike Morgan then won the following week. Last week, Gary Carrington knocked off Mike Morgan by 1 pin. Today, it'll be the top 2 seeds, Joe Ashline and Gary Carrington. And one of these two guys will join these 3 who've already qualified for the 8th annual Tri-State Megabucks Tournament of Champions. Bob Kelly, Rich Clark, and Dan Broder already in. There are 3 spots still open, and one of these 2 guys is about to claim it. Gary Carrington will start the match, and if there were one match where you'd want both guys like with microphones on them, this would be it.
This is it, yeah.
Yeah.
I have no second delay, though. We might need that. 4 horsemen left for Gary Carrington.
A 9 to open for Gary. Last week, Gary had 16 marks, 12 spares, 4 strikes. Closed the match with a 152, and he needed every one. Because Mike Morgan threw a 140. Gary had to overcome an 11-pin deficit going into that 3rd game. Couple of 9s for Gary Carrington. And now Joe Ashline. Joe's last appearance here in singles competition was in the championship match of the 1994 Tournament of Champions. And he was the titleist 2 years ago, beating Dan Broder in the finals with a 4-11. It's kind of unusual that Joe would go this length of time, almost 2 years, without qualifying. There's the ball he wanted on the first shot.
It's a nice 10 out of it.
Missed the sweep across the first try. Another split, this one with no wood.
3-6 and 4-7. Well, both bowlers open the first two.
And all even after the first two. A reminder that Candlepin Stars and Strikes here on the Winds of New England is brought to you in part by Rockingham Toyota Dodge Nissan. Right on Main Street, Route 97, Salem, New Hampshire. Come to Salem and save at Rockingham Toyota Dodge Nissan. Oh, how about it? Not quite for Gary.
.28 after 3.
Mentioned that these guys are good friends. They also are teammates. In fact, recent competition at the 1995 World Championships of Candlepin Bowling in Fredericton, New Brunswick. Gary and Joe were 2 of the 6 team members that won the World Championship. Brian McKinley, Steve Reno, Jeff Atkins, and Tom Olsta, the other team members. And within that World Championship event, that team broke a world record for a 3-game match. 5 bowlers, 3 games each, a score of 21-39. All 5 of the bowlers in that match hit 400 triples, and 4 of the 5 were over 420. Mm-hmm. And their team...
Who was the lowest, do you know? Joe asked me to ask that. I think it was Gary Carrington at 402, but I'm not sure.
I think Joe told us.
Yeah, I think Joe told us.
But the amazing thing about that team, Dan, up at the World Championships, as Joe Ashline comes up with the first mark of the match, playing the wood to perfection. Another look. Perfect. Their record, the team's record in that competition, which goes on for a week, their record over the week was 86-2. They lost just 1 game in 11 matches. Wow. They based that on a point system. You get 2 points for each game and then 2 points for the match, and they lost just 1 game, so they were 86-2 in points. That's incredible.
Really, with that level of competition up there, it's quite keen, to say the least.
And actually, the team they beat in the finals of the World Championship was the New Hampshire All-Star team, which is another team comprised of a lot of familiar names: Tim Lipke, Mike Poulin, Bill Koffold, Dave Dupuis, John Thomas, Steve Vadney.
It's a quite a bit older team.
Is that why you think it is?
Seasoned
right?
team.
Yeah. Remember, guys, that was Dan Murphy who mentioned that. 9 for Gary. He's still looking for his first mark here. And of course, up in Fredericton or anywhere in Canada, really, when they have the big world events or any major Candlepin event, major media coverage.
Absolutely.
It's not like down here where it kind of takes a back seat sometimes, but major coverage up there. Front page, newspaper stuff, all that.
Two, 4, 7 for Gary, looking for his first mark, and there it is. Spare in the 6th.
Oh, a strike. And Joe almost slipped and fell at the foul line. And he winds up with a strike. Checking the bottom of his shoes. Brooklyn hit. Kicks out the 5-pin. And he's hoping for a break, but he'll be left with the 2-6.
Well, there's a 2-pin. There's a piece of wood behind the 2-pin. So if he hits that 2-pin on the inside, it just might go to the left sidewall and back across. No, we'll never know. 8-pin drop on the strike. Gives him 63 at the halfway point.
Ooh, too good. Cut it in front of the 6-pin.
17-pin advantage for Joe Ashline.
But that does not, of course, count Gary's fill ball coming up here on the spare.
Right.
And it is 7. No. Starting next Sunday at 12 noon here on the Winds of New England, we will have a brand new 4-week series. 5 new bowlers. After today, there'll only be 2 spots left in the Tournament of Champions.
As the match progresses, we'll keep you abreast. That remember the total pinfall, the winning score here depends on, or determines their seeding. So we'll keep you informed as we get close.
Oh. Gary Carrington with his first strike, and it did not take long. Even in slow motion, it won't take long. Spare and a strike for each bowler. Ooh. Joe almost had another one.
Everything but the 7-pin. Spare in the 7th for Joe.
Not only is this a great matchup, Dan, in terms of the fact that these guys know each other well and they bowl against and with each other a lot, but also because it's a great contrast in styles. It shows you that you can bowl at this level, as these two guys do at the top of the game, and do it in 2 completely different ways. Joe Ashline is the big power bowler, the huge stride, 3-step approach, big arm swing. Gary Carrington is very compact, also takes the 3-step approach, but it's 3 much smaller steps and doesn't throw the ball nearly as hard.
Joe uses all the approach, where Gary uses probably 1/3 of it.
Good 10 for Joe after just the 3 fill on his spare.
So another 40 minutes or so will determine which style is better.
At least today.
At least today. Gary Carrington working on a strike in the 8th. Just a little full. Two, 4, 7, 6, 10. No wood. Trying to split the 2 and the 4. Almost 8 drop on the strike.
And the 10. 100 through 9. Eight for Gary and a 108 opener. These two guys bowled against each other here back on March 29th, 1992. So almost 4 years ago. Oof. Powerful 9 drop for Joe Ashline. In that match, Gary Carrington was the winner, 415 to 389. And in that match, Gary threw a triple strike to overcome a deficit.
Spare in the ninth for Joe. He's got 105 plus the bonus ball, so needless to say, he'll have the lead. Just a matter of how many pins.
Oh, my. Ouch.
Watch this. Don't blink.
$125 plus 2 balls. A little off that time. And it will be, let's see, 8. The ball's still there and spinning. Joe's going to wait this out a little bit. Now it's spinning toward the 8-pin. Joe's talking to it. Now he's going to push the button now. He's not going to wait anymore. So it's a 133 for Joe Ashline, 108 for Gary Carrington. We're back in a minute. Lots of money at stake here today, including $210 in our bonus ball contest. That'll be at the end of the hour. Be sure you send in postcards only, regular-sized postcards only, with your name, your full address, your number from 1 to 10, the number of pins you think will drop on the bonus ball. Mail them into Park Place Lanes, Route 28, Windham, New Hampshire, 03087. Joe Ashline starts game 2. He has a 25-pin lead.
And he's staying with his fastball.
Go with what brung you.
Yes. Make it a 9.
Joe from Nashua, New Hampshire. He and his wife Robin have 3 children. 6-year-old Derek, Cody, who's 4, and 2-year-old Amanda. Joe works as a sales rep for Glynn Electronics. And this is going to be a bit tricky, this 9-pin. Wood out in front. Oh, and he plays the wood to the right beautifully. Didn't know if he'd be able to get away with that.
I didn't think so, but that's probably why he's up there bowling and I'm back here sitting on a stool. Very nicely done by Joe Ashline. Spare in the second.
Gary looked like he slipped a little bit on that ball, and this leave is not fun. 1, 5, 8, and 9. These are the pins that go out when you get the spread eagle.
Yeah.
But it's tougher this way. Much tougher this way. Works for the 10. $500 to the runner-up today. $1,000 to the winner. And Gary will shoot at the 6 and the 9.
A lot of daylight at the base of that pin. Rocking back and forth and almost tipped forward into the 6.
Got it for the spare.
Matches Joe Ashline's spare.
Let's see. Will Joe kick anything out? He's waiting.
I thought the 7-pin was going to halfway down at one time.
3 of those pins were wobbling.
3, 7, 8, and 10. 2, 7, 8, and 10.
And he missed the object.
Not because of lack of body English, that's for sure. Make Make it 10, 35 through 3.
Joe pulled that one. And misses the object again. Another 10 bucks and an opening for Gary Carrington, who, as you see, trails by 30 pending the fill on this spare. But here is an opportunity for Gary. The 8 fill. Wood all over the deck for the 7-10. Piece on the left is the piece closest to Gary.
Yeah, and I think that's the one he's going to have to use. He'll need some help from the other two as well, but we'll get that out of the way. Now we'll shoot at the I thought it'd do a little more damage than that, but you never know. It's a 9 box and it's 37, so he's got 2 back from that 25-pin lead of Joe Ashline after the first game.
Brooklyn side this time. He kicks out the 6-pin. Looked like he might have the 5-6 there for a moment. Now he's got to be concerned about this wood. Your angle at home with this camera shot is a little bit off center, of course. That piece of wood right now is getting right directly in front of the 5-pin.
It couldn't be much worse.
The piece of wood in the back, though, may be frozen, so if he can somehow hit it.
No,
That's one way of doing it. That's about the toughest single pin for a spare you'll ever see. That takes us to a break here on Stars and Strikes. Joe Ashline, as we are just short of the halfway point of this championship match.
Three, 5, 6, and 7. Triangle to the right plus the 7-pin.
Joe has really got that body English working today, doesn't he?
Certainly does. You're going to be tired after this match.
He is working hard out there. 9 bucks.
$54 at the halfway point for Joe. 133 opening game, 108 opening game for Gary Carrington.
Oh, yes.
Great shot. 4 horsemen right plus the 7-pin. Don't usually see it go this quickly. Take a look at this. Splits the 1 and the 2. Head pin takes the 7.
Gary working on a spare now. Gary finished second in the roll-off, as you just saw, but he was 47 pins behind Joe Ashline over 5 games. And of course, none of that matters here now. Halfway through, and Joe Ashline's lead is 18. Plus, he's already got a markup here in the 6th. and Gary punches through. Just an 8 for Gary. Joe on a spare, pulls it to the right, but he gets away with it.
One, 2, 8, and 9.
Yes.
2 in a row for Joe Ashline. Can't keep him at bay for any length of time. It was open for 3 boxes. That's unusual for Joe.
Oh,
Hello.
the 1 and the 8.
That means 2.
Yep.
Oh,
Look out,
Fred.
look
He's
out!
going to get it.
Yes! Give it to him. What a shot. Oh, mercy. What a shot. You used your old strategy, Dan, the one you always talk about. Take the side with the fewer pins and throw it where there are more pins.
Right. Have it come back. Gary
Wow.
Carrington, 5 and 10. Piece of wood that's going to help him. Wants the 5-pin clean.
Got it. Gary could use a bunching of marks here at the end of the second.
Gary could use a strike right now. Get him back into the match, not only score-wise, but a little more body English out of Gary. Sometimes you can tell body English whether or not the guy's really into the match itself. And certainly Joe is right from the get-go. He was.
Well, that's a spare. Big spare there. 2 spares to answer Joe's 2.
Cuts the lead back down to 20.
That last one by Joe Ashline was a spectacular shot. Just 5 on it. For 3 in a row, yes, sir. 4 in a row, make it. 4 marks in a row for Joe Ashline.
You see, he needs some help on the 9-pin. Here it comes, off the wall.
And the mix for a 9 drop.
He had spare 6, spare 2, spare 5. You got to figure it's going to be 8, 9 or strike here pretty soon. 9-pin, piece of wood out in front. Whack. 5 in a row. 54 half. Now he's got 126 in a ball.
No. Yike. Strike on spare in the 10th.
82 the back half.
Not bad.
No, not too shabby. The spare 2 stuck in there.
Gary takes 8 on his spare. Oh, look out. Wow. That was the one he was looking for. Well, this 10th box now becomes kind of critical for Gary Carrington.
He needs 20 bucks just to keep it at the lead at 26 for Joe Ashline. No mark, it's another 10 pins plus.
Well, let's see.
Oh, boy.
Oh,
Looked like you got a break, and then you got another bad break by the 4-pin going down. Let's see where the wood's going to settle down. You got 3 pieces out in front. Now, right where the 2 meet out in front, you got one coming from left to right, the other from right to left. No,
no. Oh, and the ball came back and missed it also. Tough break for Gary in the 10th. And he's going to have a bit of a hill to climb here. 125 for a 2-game total of 233. For Joe Ashline, 269. So a 36-pin lead for Joe Ashline after 2, and we'll be back in a minute. Gary Carrington to start game 3. And he could use a big start, and there is a 9-drop. Spare it up. Mark number 7 for Gary.
That's what he has to do. Is just keep throwing the marks up there and hope that Joe cools off. 133, 136 for Joe, 108, 125 for Gary.
High,
Oh,
the
how many
1-8-9.
times have we seen that in the last several weeks? 1-8 and a 9, the 1-8, the 1-9 sometimes. You wonder how it can happen.
Seems like we've seen the 1-8-9 more lately than the spread eagle.
That's right.
Nice 10 for Gary. Joe Ashline doesn't knock anything down with the spinning wood. It has a triangle. Joe closing that second game with 6 straight marks. And there's another one.
Well, as we come down now, Joe is 269. 410. Bob Kelly's the top seed in the Tournament of Champions, followed by Rich Clark at 396, Dan Broder 362. So I'd definitely say Dan Broder's 362 is in jeopardy. Four,
Joe.
710.
Joe's trying to direct traffic. Wanted that wood to go a little bit farther to the right. And if it had, he would have hit it.
Yeah, but you can't throw where you think it should be. You got to throw where it is. And he works out with a 9. So 26 gains 3 more and count. 36, 39 now is his lead.
2 more boxes click off the scoreboard, and well, there's a big ball for Gary Carrington. Another 9-drop.
Had a strike way back in the 8th frame of the first game. Hasn't had one since.
There's the spare in the 3rd. Big fill ball now, and again through the center. Wow, it's uncanny. And it's not just Gary, it's been pretty much everybody the last several weeks having trouble being full on lane 31. We've got a mechanical problem on lane 32, so if it continues, we'll take a break after Gary finishes this box and then come back with the rest of game 3. In fact, we will take a timeout right here, and we'll be back on Candlepin Stars and Strikes in a minute. Joe Ashline now as we resume in game 3. Joe carrying a couple of extra pins. He'll shoot at the 1-7. Got it. Joe is on today. He's had 14 marks in 23 boxes. A little high there. Does not carry the extra pin this time.
2, 4, 6, 7, 6, 10.
And he's got it, another one.
ASC plays the 2-pin and the wood, clears out the 6 and 10. 2 in a row and 3 out of 4 boxes in this third game.
Oh, great slide, and it doesn't carry the 10. Wow. Gary didn't have much of an angle on that wood, but he got it to jump over there. Not enough for the 10 pin, though. Gary needs marks in a hurry. At last, a pin kicked out on lane 31 and a spare lead. 2-4. Nope.
$10, 65 through 6. And now we'll start to watch the total for Joe Ashline. Commanding lead of 43 plus this ball. Oh, we got a break there. Looked like a half Worcester going down. He threw his arms up. He thought he was going to get 2 or 3. We dropped 7. And all of a sudden, picks this up. You can start looking at Bob Kelly's score.
Oh, yeah. 3 in a row.
19 pins over right now. So that puts him about 388. At a 119 clip. He's got another ball coming here on the spare. You know by his body English, he knows exactly what he needs.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure both of these guys were aware of the 410 when the match started.
Because that's another one of their buddies, too, is Bob Kelly.
That's right.
So.
Well, Joe would need a 141 to tie Bob Kelly.
Now, that shot tells you a lot. Instead of taking the
Yep.
2 in a corner, he went for the head pin, trying
Yep.
to get 3 or 4.
Gary hoping to somehow get some strikes together here, maybe make a dent in this lead. He'll take the spare in the 7th. Mark number 8 for him, and make it mark number 9. And again, through the middle. This is not a recording. Oh, gave it a run.
Joe Ashline needs at least 1 mark to catch Rich Clark.
And he needs many to catch Bob Kelly.
Well, I'd say he needs 3. 3 out of 4. Ooh. This is not one to start with. Oh, what a try.
Oh, how about it? Oof. When you're here at Park Place Lanes, either bowling for your own enjoyment or if you're here to catch one of our Stars and Strikes tapings, be sure and stop in, breakfast, lunch, or dinner, for great food at reasonable prices, friendly service at the Willow Tree North restaurant. Remember, it's where the crew eats here at Park Place Lanes. needs 3 marks to catch Bob Kelly, and there's one of them right there. He'll have room for 2 more when he comes up for his final 2.
It's a 142 to pass Bob Kelly. It's not in the cards for Gary this week. 1 in the 3. He chops out just the head pin.
Well, Gary will take home a check for $500, and of course there'll still be time for him and time for other qualifiers, as there will still be 2 spots open in the Tournament of Champions. A 108, and Gary finishes up his day's work with a 341. Now the suspense turns to Joe Ashline and his final score. Remember, the 2 scores he's looking at right now, the second seed at the moment is Rich Clark with a 396. And then above him, Bob Kelly with a 410.
He's at 370 right now, plus this ball.
Oh, and
wait a minute.
Let's see.
Wait a minute.
He'll get that. Big pin right there.
Sure was. Not only a 9 fill on the spare, but it gives him another shot at legitimately another spare. The 10 pin.
Yeah, you heard Joe. You heard Joe. That would not have counted even had it come back, because the ball did not hit anything on the plate. And we're going to have a ball removed from the channel before Joe shoots at the 10 pin. Well, this will leave Joe at either 119 or 120 after 9, which means Rich Clark probably is within range. He only needs 128 to beat Rich Clark. Every pin important, of course. And so now Joe needs 8 pins to beat Rich Clark, and he needs a double strike in order to have a chance to catch Bob Kelly.
Right.
And he almost got it. There's the 8 he needed to catch Rich.
There's Bob Kelly safe.
For now. Spare in the 10th. Well, I don't remember the last time this happened, Dan. The seeds held for all 4 matches. That doesn't happen very often.
Throws a strike here, be 1 pin shy of Bob Kelly.
399 plus this ball. And look out. Thought he might get a little backdoor work there. It's a 7 fill and a 137 for a 406 for Joe Ashline. He beats Gary Carrington in the championship match, and we'll be back to see if we can award $210 in the bonus ball after these words. Back on Stars and Strikes, Doug Brown and Dan Murphy, and Joe Ashline got the quick start, and really that's what you need at this level of competition. Gary kind of sweated the win out last week, but this week he wasn't able to come back.
Yeah, you wonder how much that last week's match took out of Gary, because he just didn't seem to have it on the ball this week. Got a couple bad breaks, especially on lane 31. But Joe, once he got the lead, he just doesn't light up. All
right, let's give away some money here. First of all, Gary Carrington, come up for your $500 runner-up check. And well, you had a terrific win last week, and obviously bowling against Joe, you know it's not going to be easy, and he kept the hammer down.
Yeah, I didn't bowl good. I would have liked to put some more pressure on him. You know, it was touch and go. I thought first couple of minutes I was still in it. I just couldn't put nothing together. That's all.
Well,
he kept putting one, at least one, every time he got up there. So kept pulling away.
We've talked during the last several weeks about how you guys have all made appearances on the Tournament of Champions, and there's still room left this season, so perhaps we'll see you again.
Okay.
All right, sir. Thanks very much. Gary Carrington finishing in the runner-up spot this time, and Joe Ashline, the champion, and he's going to try now our bonus ball contest. $210 here. Still looking for our first match of the year. And let's see, a 6. Well, let's see. Come on over here, Joe. Let's see if we can't get a match here for $210. Give away some cash. We have a match from Louise LeBlanc in Manchester, New Hampshire. Her guess was 6. Louise, you've just won $210 and a brand new set of bowling balls from Paramount Industries. Joe, you get another set as well. And the $1,000 check, sir. Congratulations. I know, as opposite, obviously, from what I said with Gary, you know, you got to get out to a quick start and all that we were saying earlier. You got the jump on him.
Yeah, but I was struggling a little bit, but I was getting some breaks off the head pin. You know, he was blowing through the middle on some of his marks, and I was missing the head pin. And you get the head pin sitting up there, you always got a spare leave. So I was fortunate that way.
Well, 4-0, yeah, you got a bunch of people. You got a bunch of people joining. You're like the Pied Piper up here now.
I don't even know who half of them are.
Some who aren't even yours. 406. That puts you in second place right now, but of course, still 2 guys with a shot at you. But you'll be probably right up there near the top. And we'll see you in the Tournament of Champions.
Thank you.
All right, Joe. Thanks very much. Congratulations. $1,000 to him, and of course, we know that we'll be seeing Joe in the Tournament of Champions in the spring. Next week, we begin a brand new 4-week series. Only 2 spots left now.
Yeah, and who knows? Maybe it'd be me and you, Doug. two spots. But I think these guys want to take on Joe.
I think so. We've got some youngsters that are going to show our stuff here as we go out. So we'll say goodbye. Next weekend, Candlepin Skins, Saturday at noon, and back here Sunday at noon on Stars and Strikes. Until then, for Dan Murphy and the whole crew, I'm Doug Brown. Take care, everybody.